Whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Can I get all this camera gear into that backpack, be under 30 pounds, and still be comfortable? I'm going to explore the answers to all those questions in this video. It is important to note that I am not sponsored by any of the companies I mentioned in this video. All of the opinions I express are my own thoughts based upon my own experiences. I just like and happen to use their gear. Thankfully, there are a lot of alternative options for some of the gear I'm about to show you. Here is a close-up of my standard lens bag and how I pack everything up. I normally don't need to clean my lenses in the field, but I always carry a couple of microfiber cloths just in case. They don't take up much space and the weight is insignificant. On a side note, I usually don't keep them folded this neatly. That was just for the aesthetics of this video. The first lens that I'll pack up is my most used lens in landscape photography. This is the Nikon Nikkor SW150mm lens with a maximum aperture of f8. It weighs about 3 pounds with the lens board and is ridiculously huge, but I love wide-angle photography, so for me it's worth carrying around the weight in bulk. I protect this lens with the Domke F34L 19-inch protective wrap. This lens just squeezes into my bag. My next most used lens in the field and in the studio is the Nikon Nikkor M 300mm lens with a maximum aperture of f9. It weighs just under a pound with the lens board and is extremely compact. I protect this lens with the Domke 722-11R f34R 11-inch protective wrap. I keep these lenses in an inexpensive S-Zone padded folding camera bag that I found on Amazon. I like this bag because it weighs 0.3 pounds and has this nice handle that makes it a breeze to pull out of the backpack. As an alternative, sometimes I'll pack my Nikon Nikkor M 450mm lens with a max aperture of f9 in lieu of either my 300mm or 150mm lens. It weighs about 1.8 pounds with the lens board and gets most often used in the studio. I protect this lens with the Domke F34M 15-inch protective wrap. If I'm feeling really wild and crazy, I sometimes find a place in the pack for this lens in addition to the other two. Here is a close-up of my standard accessory bag and how I pack everything up. I always pack 2 shutter release cables because they sometimes break at the most inconvenient times, like the very moment when all the leaves are suddenly completely still on a tree. I also always carry a spare CR17345 battery for the Sekonic light meter because that too will give out at the most inconvenient time. Like when you hike 2 miles into the Narrows in the bone-chilling water and you have the camera set up and dialed in on an epic scene. Did I get the shot? No, but Alan Brock did. He photographed that same scene about a day or 2 later and did a beautiful job. For me, that was a lesson learned the hard way. This is my Sekonic DualMaster L558R light meter and case. It weighs about 3/4 of a pound and does exactly what I need it to do. This is the Fuji 4X magnifying loupe with a diopter adjustment ring and a movable shroud for viewing prints. Just as a side note, the higher you go in magnification, the more you'll magnify the grain of the ground glass as opposed to the projected image. That can make fine focusing even more challenging. I learned that the hard way. Moving on to my filters. This is the Haida 100x100mm optical glass polarizer. I really like this filter because it's bigger than my biggest lens and subsequently never limits the use of this filter because of any type of mechanical vignette. It just works great. I use it mainly to remove reflections and deepen colors, but on ultra rare occasions, I use it to make rainbows more visible. This is my graduated neutral density filter kit that contains the 1-stop, 2-stop, and 3-stop versions. I occasionally use these to bring down the brightness of the sky in order to retain detail if the metered values go beyond the latitude of the film I'm using. This is a Lee No. 23A light red filter that I use on the rare occasion when I shoot black and white film. I use it to dramatically deepen blue skies, which subsequently makes clouds more prominent, especially cumulus clouds, my absolute favorite for black and white photos. These are my 52 and 67mm ring adapters for my 300 and 450mm lenses, respectively. I use them to attach my filter holder adapters. If you are looking to save a significant amount of money, thefilterdude.com is a great place to shop for Lee style compatible gear at a fraction of a cost. This is the standard 100mm Lee filter holder that I use on the 300 and 450mm lenses. I have it configured to accommodate 2 filters. This other Lee filter holder is exclusively for my 150mm lens. It attaches directly to the lens barrel by pushing it on and is tightened down by a compression ring. It too is configured to accommodate 2 filters. I use this multicolored Bic pen and notebook to keep track of my field data. I like to alternate between black and blue ink to separate days of shooting, which makes finding data a bit easier in the future. Also, I prefer notebooks that have a sewn binding so that the pages don't come loose after months of being handled. I use this Craftsman stopwatch for exposures longer than 1 second. The last piece in this accessory bag is my lightweight and easily visible bubble level. Not that there's anything wrong with my Chamonix bubble levels, however, they are a little small, which makes them more challenging to see if you need reading glasses. I also like using an external level because I don't need to circle around the camera to check all the bubbles. This is also convenient when I'm set up on an uneven surface like a hillside, so that I can minimize unneeded movements and lower the risk of tripping or knocking the camera over. I keep all of these accessories in a bag identical to my lens bag. Here is a close-up of my camera bag. I use and absolutely love the Chamonix 8x10 Alpinus convertible field box camera. It is a wonderful work of art that is precisely made, and it came with a nice bag. I also keep my Wanderer Ultralight dark cloth with a drawstring in this bag. Incredibly, this weighs only about 7 ounces, which is significantly lighter and compact than my previous one. The last thing I keep in this camera bag is my laminated Reciprocity chart. I usually affix this to my ground glass cover, but I need to make a smaller version so that it fits neatly on the Chamonix. My 3 camera bags fit perfectly into my 75-liter ULA Catalyst backpack. This pack is very comfortable and has been extremely durable since purchasing it in 2021. The only downside is that it weighs about 3.2 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 1.5 pounds heavier than some of the other ultralight backpacks on the market. On a long hike or multi-day trip, every ounce counts, no matter what physical shape you're in. The next thing I put into my pack are my film holders. I like to keep them in these well-designed sleeves made by Dan Stone of Stone Photo Gear. He makes really durable and unique pieces for us large format photographers and is willing to work with you to help make your custom project a reality. I chose a variety of colors for my film holder sleeves to help me identify and keep all the different film stocks I shoot organized. I minimize the volume that the film holders occupy by alternating the dark slide ends since they aren't a uniform thickness across the holders. This pack can easily accommodate 3 to 4 film holders in addition to my gear bags, water, food, and communication devices. The last piece of camera gear is my tripod and ball head. I first wanted to mention that I used the Leofoto QS60 quick release mount set to make it faster to pack, unpack, and interchange among my 3 tripods. Typically, I pack my Gitzo GT1542T tripod with the PhotoPro FPH 42Q ball head. This setup is relatively compact and weighs about 3.1 pounds. It is a sufficiently sturdy combination for lightweight 8x10 large format cameras and has been very durable since I purchased it in 2011. As an alternative for longer hikes, I'll pack my more compact and ultralight PhotoPro X Aircross 1 carbon fiber travel tripod with the included FPH 42Q ball head. This tripod and ball head combo only weighs 2.2 pounds and supports up to 22 pounds. The only downside is that when the center column is maximally extended, there is a little more flex than I am comfortable with. This doesn't happen with the center column retracted, but some may find that 40-inch height a bit limiting. On a side note, I did have to replace the quick release base because the springs went flying out on the original one. It was really nice, however, to be able to replace the base with the inexpensive and fantastic Photoconic CL70N without having to replace the entire ball head. On short hikes, I always opt for my Arca Swiss D4 geared ball head and attach it to my Gitzo tripod. It is an absolutely fantastic ball head with precise controls and a load capacity of 75 pounds, but it weighs in at a solid 2.2 pounds without the tripod legs. So when I need to save weight, I'll just swap this out with my PhotoPro ball head. The last two pieces of gear are my emergency devices. Depending upon where I'm headed, I pack my Garmin InReach Mini and basic Inmarsat satellite phone and place them in the hip pockets of my backpack for easy access. Coincidentally, these pockets are also great for snacks and my cell phone. My entire pack weighs in at 31 pounds for my heaviest option and only 27 pounds for my lightest configuration. There are definitely some ways that I could save a few pounds by finding a lighter backpack, using the Chamonix film holders, and selecting lighter lens options. With that said, I haven't felt the need to lighten my load further because the pack is very comfortable, if you can imagine that. In my humble opinion, if your backpack is less than 30 pounds with an 8x10 large format kit, then that's a notable accomplishment. If you enjoyed exploring my backpack with me, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Most importantly, if you have an essential piece of gear that you love, please share it in the comments so everyone in the photographic community can benefit from it. As always, thanks for watching.